Well, welcome to Tea Time with Miss Liz. That's right, it's afternoon tea. And today in the studio, I have the lovely gentleman, Kelly Wheadon, in the studio. So I'm just going to read a little bit on Kelly's bio, and then we're going to get right into it. And grab your teas and leave your comments, leave your posts. If you have any questions, please leave them. If you're watching on the replay, please leave that as well, so I know where you're watching from and all that. So all that good stuff. So a little bit on Kelly. Kelly Wheadon is a holistic financial specialist, best-selling co-author, money connector, wealth builder, and dream achiever. Kelly is on the path to make big changes in the world by creating a safe space to open up about finances, mindsets, struggles, and more. Wealth is on the top of mind for many people, but it's not about money. What I do is I help people protect themselves and their families with the right insurance, help families get into better financial shapes, help parents set their kids up for their futures by providing a strategy and educational avenue to learn for themselves. Kelly has been the keynote speaker on several podcasts and has written in several magazine articles. And to learn more on Kelly Wheadon, please check out Miss Liz's Tea Time Facebook page, LinkedIn, and all that other good juicy stuff that I have out there. So welcome, Kelly, to Tea Time with Miss Liz. It is an honor to have you here. I would really like to get into who is Kelly and why does Kelly do what Kelly does?
That is a good question. Thank you so much for this honor and privilege to be here with you today. A lot of people ask, when you're asking yourself, who are you? It took me a long time to figure that out. And sometimes we go through impactful events in life to help define who we are at this point in our lives. And for me, that was when my older sister passed away 7 years ago. And that hit me at a time in my life when I needed to figure out, what am I going to do with my life? Seeing someone so close to me go through and pass away so suddenly. And that's what it was. It was something so sudden that it rocked my world to the point where I needed to have a new life plan, a new game plan. And it wasn't until then that I realized I wasn't living my truth.
Okay.
And I wanted to become a better person, and I wanted to become more of my true self. So now I'm on a journey to do that, but also help others do that. So that's kind of how I got into the financial industry, because my sister passed without life insurance.
I guess that's a really wide awakening for a lot of people, right? Is we have to lose something really precious to us before we actually realize, hey, we got to get our stuff in order here, you know?
So true. So usually it comes either with an impactful event, an emotional impact, or through repetition. Well, I've been through repetition in areas that I still never learned from. Sometimes that's a relationship. Sometimes you repeat things like that and you're like, why is this happening to me? And it's really about learning. And this was definitely put me on a path of learning, not only learning about myself, but learning about others and helping them move forward with their struggles, whether it's through finances, whether it's through finding themselves. My wife, and that's how we connected, was my wife, was being able to be that self-care as well. And a lot of men and a lot of women don't do it. They don't do self-care enough.
Exactly, right. We don't take care of ourselves until it's too late. And then we're like, oh no, we should have did this sooner.
Yeah, it's like as soon as you cut yourself, you put the Band-Aid on. But now it's about, well, what's the preventative? How can we be
Exactly.
healthier mentally, spiritually, physically?
So what was it about financial freedom for you? I know the word freedom, there's a big purpose behind the word freedom for you as well. A little bit on your story as well, your personal story. So the word freedom has really been important to you. I know by speaking with your wife and that, and getting to know you a little bit on the personal side. Uh, what does it mean to you when you hear that word financial freedom?
Financial freedom is going to mean a lot to different people, but for me, it's being able to wake up every morning and not feel stressed about money, not feel stressed if, your car breaks down and you need to go spend a couple $1,000s on it, or to
Yeah.
have a friend come to you and need a couple $1,000s. And I say a couple thousand because usually we could do a couple hundred, but even if you hear the words couple $100 and you cringe at that moment, that's where there's the problem. Most people are about $200 away from being ultimately broke. And our world has done a disservice to ourselves. We've done it to ourselves, but how do we get through that? So financial freedom is being able to not have to worry about what costs are, to go shopping and not look at that price tag first. Don't look at that pair of pants and go, oh, it costs this much, instead of saying, I want these.
That's
But
me.
yeah, exactly. We all do it.
I'm like,
Even with
where's
our
the deal?
groceries.
Where's the clearance?
Yeah, exactly. And it's still okay. Even if you had millions of dollars, to still go for that clearance
Yeah.
section because of value.
Mm-hmm.
But it's being able to make the choice, not because you have to, but because you want to. That's the biggest difference for financial freedom for me. Not that I want to say, oh, I want to go buy a new vehicle every year, but to have the ability to do it, or to
Exactly.
have the ability to $1,000 to charity, or $50,000 to anything. Like to be able to go out and provide more service. Yes, I can do volunteering. Yes, we can do that with our time. Time is a commodity that is invaluable. So financial freedom is actually getting time back.
I like the way that you said that, Kelly, because it's true, right? We can volunteer our time, but we actually have to take care of ourselves. And I'm learning that as an individual and as a businesswoman too, right? That at the end of the day, I still have to survive, right? So I really wanted to get you on here to understand the financial aspect of it, because it always scared me as a little girl, right? Because I came from poverty, but I don't want to stay in poverty. So, how do we change that mindset over time?
Repetition.
Okay.
So it's as simple to say, hey, you may not have come from money, but you could be the one to change the future by creating the wealth for the future generations. So honestly, it's a lot of us may have grown up with, hey, money doesn't grow on trees. Hey, we can't afford that.
Yeah.
Oh, or even the wait till your dad gets home, or wait till your mom gets home. We
I've
always
heard that a
had
lot.
that. So, as kids, we hear this in the back
Yeah.
of our minds. So we've actually been programmed to think certain ways about money. So one, we actually have to write that down.
Okay.
When you think of money, what do you think of? What's the first thing that comes to your mind? Does money make you corrupt? Or, people with money are evil? Whatever it is, you need to write those down. And then you need to really actually look at that and go, is that the truth?
Exactly. It's the
And
mindset, right?
it's the mindset.
It's the mindset. And I'm working on that. And for all the viewers out there, Miss Liz is working on that. The mindset, because I came from all of those comments, like you said, wait till your dad gets home. Money doesn't grow on trees, rich people are evil. It was like, really, like they're people too. I'm a big, huge humanitarian. So I look at everyone the same, right? I don't care if you have $1 million or you have $1. You're still a human being at the end of the day for me. So it's the mindset of changing it. And I think it's really important that we need to show the vulnerability and the authenticity that not everybody has that mindset, but it can be changed. It's like you had the rude awakening, your sister passed, and it was like, oh my God, I got to get things in order. So was it something that you're always drawn to? Was the financial side of it, or is it something that you learned, or?
I actually feared finances myself. I was more like, I like money for sure. So what I did is I worked oil and gas.
Okay.
So I come from a small town. That's what we did. We worked oil and gas. That's where the big money was. But it was long hours. It was like days and days and days in a row, or sometimes being on call, which I would take all the time because I was like, ooh, time and a half. That means I get this much money. I was always thinking that way. I was always working for the money, but I was not creating the money.
Oh, so that makes a big difference. I like the way that you said that, Kelly, because it is true, right? A lot of people have that mindset. I'm just going to go to work and make the money, but they don't understand the money. They don't understand the currency and the time and value that it's taking, and this is why I always encourage everyone that I speak to in my life is do something that brings a passion to you, brings something enjoyment. You don't want to go to work. Oh, I got to get up and go to work from 9 to 5, and then you get home, you're all like, oh, rough day at work. Do something that you enjoy. So when you go home, you have that enjoyment and you have that time, that quality time, right? And I see that with you and your wife as well, is that you're both doing something that you're passionate about because it shows in the lifestyle that you have as well.
Like, I'm not passionate about being a financial advisor by any means.
No, but you are passionate about people, changing people's lives, because it says right in, like, right here, Teatime, like you're the money connector. You're a connector. You like to work with people. You like to make dreams, achieve dreams. You like to build changes. And this is what we do on Making a Difference, is we build the difference, right? By giving the awareness that it can be done.
Yeah. Here's one tip I can give to people. And this is something I just kind of learned in the last little while. I was the type of person that would, I work at 8 or I work at 7. I would be up at like 6:25 because I knew I needed 5 minutes to shower, this many minutes to get my lunch, and this many minutes to drive to work. Okay, all of you listening to this, raise your hand, because if that's how you are, okay, I'm going to help you change that. Ooh, question is, what are you waking up for? So are you waking up for your kids? Are you waking up for your job? Are you waking up for your spouse? And if you're answering yes to all of those, I want to help you correct that. You need to wake up for you. You need to wake up for your dreams and goals. That doesn't mean you can't have those things. What it means is you might have to get up 10, 15, 20 minutes, maybe an hour early, and spend time journaling, spend time in gratitude, spend time in thought. And some of you may think, I don't have that much time. I get it. But when we want something bad enough, we will create the time. It's funny. We all have 24 hours, but we create time.
Yep.
So it can be as simple as, when we're driving, make that our university. It's a university on wheels, whether it's podcast, whether it's just information about learning, whether it's a new language or not. So I started to create time in my mornings to, get a little exercise in because I want to be healthier. Read a little bit more because I want to be more knowledgeable. Spend a little bit more time in positive environment that best time is in the morning when it's quiet, when nobody else is awake, when nobody else is up. Mom, I need this. Dad, I need that. Can you do this? What do you want for dinner? You can actually spend 20 minutes in silence with your own thoughts. Yes, that can be scary. We need to have the right thoughts.
Yeah, it could
Okay.
be.
We need
We
the
ain't
right
even going
thoughts.
there.
But if we can condition ourselves to think the right things, we attract the right things. If you're in a constant thought process of, negativity or bad things happen, or I'm always broke, or I'm in debt, or things just never work out for me, unfortunately, we do create it.
Yep.
We are the masters of our own destiny, and it's not an easy task. Okay, I'm still a work in progress, but I see the effects. If you've read any self-help book, they all sound the same. Guys, success leaves clues.
Exactly. Little nuggets.
Little nuggets.
Little nuggets. Gold nuggets.
Exactly. It's kind of like that. You're 3 feet from gold. Don't
Exactly.
give up. Just keep digging or swimming.
So what has it taught you, Kelly, about your life by becoming a financial freedom?
Wow, there's so many things I did not know. So many things were not taught in school. We learn from our parents, but we only learn what they know. It's no knock to our parents. Our parents are amazing people, but they only know what they know. And the internet is incredible and horrible at the same time, because there's so much information out there. It's kind of like paralysis by analysis, too many things to look at and too many people's point of views. I'm not saying my point of view is always right, but what I like to say is, have you sat down with somebody that has the lifestyle you want, and have you interviewed them?
I know I have.
Honestly, it was something I never did. Well, actually, I did in oil and gas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I talked to people and like, my dad was a welder. I wanted to do that. He's like, no, you don't want to be doing this. You want to be doing a cushiony desk job that's safe. I'm like, no, I don't. Look at me now. My parents must have ingrained that in me. But it's those little things. It's, if you go to your job tomorrow morning and you look at your senior person and your senior management, are they willing to teach and train you to get to that position? Will they give you the tools and techniques to take over their job? 9 times out of 10, that's a no. So you do need to find a mentor. But if that person that in your career path has the finances, the relationship, the faith, everything that you're looking for, great. Stay on that path. If they don't, then you need to ask yourself, is this what I want? And what is it that I want? And the biggest thing is, we ask about, what is it that I want? It's so simple to say, just enough. I just need to get by. Why? Why do we shrink ourselves? We are worthy. We are enough to have more than enough. There's abundance in this world. Honestly, I don't think anybody should be hungry. Nobody should be homeless. None of that. We have enough abundance around here that everybody should be safe, warm, and have food in their stomachs.
I totally agree with that, Kelly, because there is enough out there. There's no need for any of this, and I really want to get into the education. What did you learn by becoming a financial freedom advisor? What education was not taught to us in school is more what I want to get into. What have you learned that wasn't taught to us? And what do you think could be changed in the school systems for
Basically,
financial advice?
The one thing that I learned, the rule of 72. Okay. Maybe it was taught in school and I just don't remember it. The rule of 72. You take 72 and you divide it by your interest rate. And that's how long it takes for your money to double. So if you actually take out your phone, you take out your calculator. That's what I got right here. Take 72 and divide by, what's the basic interest rate you can get on your bank account?
I think it's 29% when it's really high.
Now that's your credit card.
When you got really bad credit.
So if you think about it, say you got 4% at your bank. okay, for your bank, so that your basic banking account, okay? It takes 18 years for your money to double.
Wow.
Now, take 72, divide by 19. What is 19? That's your credit card. 3.78 years it takes your money to double on a credit card.
Wow.
That is why most people, and I'd say majority of us, cannot get ahead, because our interest on our debts is higher than our interest on our savings.
Oh my goodness.
That was the one key thing. I was like, oh my gosh. But what's the first thing you get when you're 18 years old and you go to university? Table of, you need this credit card, line of credit. And then we're human beings. We have targets. We're competitive.
Yeah.
So you have a credit card limit. What do? We max it out because that's a target to reach. And then we get rewarded with an increase on our limit. So what
and
do?
then we spend more.
We max it out again.
It's true though, and to the viewers that are out there and the viewers that are going to watch later, check out this rule of 72, because I really appreciate these tools and nuggets that you're giving, Kelly, to the viewers out there, because we really need to start getting our things in order, especially with this time where everyone is losing jobs and losing finances, and that now is the time to get it in order, because we just never know what's coming. So what message would you have to the viewers out there that are listening about this time? Because I'm sure that this time has been really a hard time for a lot of people out there with their finances. So what message would you like to give to them?
Don't fear money, and don't fear where you're at, because you actually might not be in a worse position. You might not be as bad as you think.
Okay.
Or you could be worse than you think. And the reason why I bring that up is sitting down and knowing where you're at will help you put an action plan together to get you where you need to go. It's as simple as if you were to take and go on a road trip. You're not just going to get in your car. And if anybody who has seen Bob Proctor, if you're going to go west, you just get in your car and drive west. Well, where are you going? I'm going west. Well, where are you going? West. You can keep going west and keep going west and keep going west. And when you get west, you can still keep going. You need to have a destination in place. So sometimes you just need an outside person who can oversee where you're at and help you get to where you want to go. This is where experience comes from. So I heard this analogy about loggers. And if there's any loggers on this call and they hear this and I'm wrong, please call me back. But it's when logs are going down the river and you get a log jam. What does an inexperienced person do? They start right at the back and they start picking away all the logs. An experienced logger will walk down the river, climb a tall tree, overlook everything and see where the log jam is. Pick the one or two logs out. It's free flowing. That's what a financial advisor can do. Or somebody that you know, like, and trust and you respect that has what you want. They can oversee where you're at and where you're stuck and help you pick out maybe those couple logs that are blocking you to help the flow come in. And that's what we're all looking for. Now, it can be as simple as working more overtime. It can be as simple as working the weekends. And that's one thing I used to do. I'll take on call. I'll work the weekends. But then that was like an 8-hour shift or a 10-hour shift. But if you took 1 hour a day and spent it on you, on your mindset, on learning, that's 365 hours put towards maybe an outside business that you could create an extra income. Or you could increase your knowledge so that you can get a raise at your job and get a higher position. Simple things like that can make a huge change for your future self.
I like that. Thank you. Thank you so much, Kelly. So if anybody would like to reach Kelly, I'm going to just put your LinkedIn up so people can reach you on LinkedIn. And I do believe you have a booking schedule as well on here that I found. I want to now get into Kelly. I want to get into your tea. And then we're going to jump back into Kelly and more financial freedom. But I want to get to know who Kelly is. So when I give you the word T, could you give me your T? When I mean give me your T, give me a word for each of the letters. So starting with TEA. So what would your T be, Kelly?
That's actually going to be an interesting one. Just first thing that came to my mind is transgender.
I like that.
The E, enough. And A, two words are coming up for me, attitude and abundance.
Oh, I like them both.
Yeah, so I'm like, it's T with two A's.
Because they actually go together.
Yeah.
And it tells me who you are as well, Kelly, because this is what we do is we serve our T's, right? We serve who we are. And I like that you said transgender for your T, because that is part of your life. That is part of who you are. And that is your story, you know, and that is part of your past. As a child, you had that. I don't know if you came out as an adult or, you know, but that was part of your past. Enough. That is you right now. The present of you right now is that you're saying it is enough. We need to get our finances in order. We need to get our lives in order. We need to start living our truth. And you've said all of this right at the beginning of the show is that enough is enough. You know, I lost my sister. It's enough. Let's get it in order. So this is your present. You are living in your present, and your attitude and abundance. That is you in the future. The abundance of the attitude of the present. You're bringing that into the future. So you really have a strong cup of tea. And I really want to thank you for sharing that tea with me, because this is what we do. We serve tea on Teatime. We serve people. We serve your cup, your story, your life. So now I want to get into, you shared your story, I believe, in a book.
Yes.
And the book is called The Year the World Paused. Did you share your personal story in that book?
Yes, I did. So I co-authored that book with 20 other amazing authors that told their story about, right now, the pandemic, the world has paused. And how did we get through it? And it brought up a bit about our past, our journeys to where it got us to this point, to our overcoming. And every day is going to be an overcoming of something. It's the tools and techniques and strategies that people used to overcome their struggles, their tribulations, and things like that. It's all adversity. And the book was amazing. The co-authors, I have to thank Janet Wizawadi for believing in me enough to want me to be part of this, and all of the other authors that spent their time, poured their heart out to serve. That's really what it was about. It's about serving people. Because we can hear the same stories. It's like anything, parent death. Kids get parent death. It's happened. But sometimes we need to hear the same story, but said by somebody else that we can relate to, so that it can hit us harder in the heart.
And you guys reached in 3 categories from what I found online. You had reached in the death and grief in the Kindle, death and grief in the book, and I believe the third one was, I wrote it here, or I wrote it somewhere, but you had reached another category.
You probably know more than I do on that one, because I was like, oh my gosh.
I do my homework, but oh my God, I don't know where I put it. I had written it down. Personal transformation. That was the third category that you had reached in. So if anybody would like to get a copy of this book and read Kelly's story, the link has been posted on, while Kelly was sharing a little bit on his journey and that with the process of writing. So what did you learn about yourself, Kelly, by sharing your story in that book?
Total avoidance behavior.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. Oh, totally. It's kind of like I've just lived my life, did my thing, didn't really think about it. And when I started to write about it, I started to remember little things growing up. And my family's very private, so just don't tell my parents I'm doing this. Okay, my parents don't have internet, so oh my gosh, I don't know.
I'm safe.
But it's the hardest work is the work we do on ourselves. It's so easy to go shovel snow. Okay, no, it's really not. It sucks. It's snowing right now.
I love
But,
snow.
but when we
Send
actually
some my way.
when we actually look at doing work on ourselves, the internal work, the what got us to where we are, that was the hardest thing, to kind of relive some of the things in the past. My life has been a blessing. I've grown up extremely well. It was my perception of things that was the hardest, because I grew up, so born female, small town, small northern BC. It's not exactly, being gay is one thing, being transgender. I didn't even know what that was until I moved to Edmonton, and probably into my late 30s did I ever know what that was. And now it's mainstream. And sometimes it's hard to come out per se with anything because, one, you don't want to be like everybody else, but it's your story, it's your journey. So my parents were very, very open. Like, I had hockey sticks when I was growing up. I had, guns. Okay, they were fake guns. Okay, like play guns and stuff like that.
I don't know if you were out west.
Yeah. But all of those things, never a thought, right? Yeah. I was a tomboy. That's, I guess, what we called it back then. But the thing is, it was my perception of, I wanted to play hockey with the boys. I wanted to play baseball, or I wanted to be with the group of guys that I hung out with when I was younger. But as I grew up, it was, well, no, you can't, because you have to go to a different change room, or girls don't do that. Okay. And in my mind, I was like, well, what's wrong with me? So I started to internalize there was something wrong with me. So that made me become very shy. I have female friends who were mechanics, who could go do more work, guy things, if you want to put it that way. I hate the labels. That's where I started to really
big on
realize.
That too. I really hate the labels, and I really hate the stigma. We're all human beings, we just have a different blend and a different flavor in us.
Yeah. I think everybody should know how to change the oil, change a tire. Yeah. But make the choice if you want to do it or not.
Exactly, right? And if you don't want to do it, you call somebody that can do it.
Exactly. Learn what you're good at. Yeah. And expand on those strengths. But what I started to do was I started to go too inward, where I didn't put myself out there to learn because I didn't want to be thought of any different.
Oh, okay.
So I stopped myself. It wasn't anybody else. I stopped myself. But then all of a sudden it got, it's too late. It's too late to play hockey, because all of a sudden girls were allowed to play. But then I didn't want to. So I started playing hockey in my 20s. Wow. My Olympic dream was gone.
I was too old.
Yeah. I was like, I knew it. That's the thing. It's the stories we tell ourselves. Yeah. And then sometimes we overhear something from somebody else. So I was told I was stupid by a teacher when I was in elementary school. And that stuck with me. You know what? Still to this day, it does bother me. And I'm working through that. But the thing is, for the first little while, it's their voice. Yeah. And for then years to come, it's your voice. That's the voice we have to stop. Yeah. We need to be our own cheerleaders. And that's when I made the decision to become myself. I'd always been misgendered, mislabeled, whatever, and even when I was trying to be feminine, I went through a stage of femininity, but I felt awkward. And I needed to go, when am I the most comfortable? How am I the most comfortable? I'm not lying about who I am. So your perception of who you think I am. Well, so yes, my gender markers are not changed. My gender markers are not changed. My ID is not changed. Well, okay, I'm lazy. I'm just not doing it. It's really what it is. But I am an open book, and I will be a conversation. If anybody has questions about things, I will explain to the best of my ability. But not everyone's the same, and not everyone's journey And I'll say, we all transition in one way or another. We really, really do.
Yeah.
But what it comes down to is community and how we treat one another.
Well, and the only way we're going to change the labels and the stigma is by speaking about it, and by sharing and getting people to understand. Because I have a lot of family members that are gay. I have some that are drag. They call them drag queens. And there's different titles, different. I hate the labels and I hate the titles. I really do. We're just human beings at the end of the day. We just have an extra spice to us, an extra sprinkle to us, but we're all human beings. And, once we start understanding one another, I think the world will be a better place. And I think we really can get ahead in life when we stop the labeling and stop the stigma. What's comfortable for somebody else is not comfortable for us, but that doesn't mean that we have to stop that other person, And I really wanted you to be on the show when your wife reached out to me, because I really want this out there. I really want to break the stigma and the labels on these subjects. And the financial freedom is part of this as well, because, we have to look at ourselves. It's a self-reflection. It's the mindset of changing. So it's not only just your personal story. It's the mindset of your whole life. You had to change everything in your life, in order to understand life, in order to be comfortable. And this is something that you learned about yourself through the transformation of taking those steps. And I really think that we really need to get that message out there to the world and to all the viewers that are out there. Let's start understanding each other instead of judging each other. And my tongue is going to do this tongue twister thing again. Here comes the French coming in and rolling in. And
I'd almost like to add one little thing to that, because sometimes I don't even understand myself, but giving myself grace to be okay to figure it out. So that's all I ask people is, you don't have to be okay. We don't have to have the same views. We don't even have to understand each other. But if we could be curious enough to want to learn, not to maybe understand, not to be about accepting, but just curious enough to learn for our own education and go, okay, that's you. This is me. We don't agree on this topic, but you know what? That's okay. And still high five each other and walk away. Sometimes we just need to do that.
Exactly. And I like the way that you said that. Be curious, educate yourself. That's the only way we're going to change anything. And you've brought that up quite often during this tea time. It's education. Yeah. Do you think that we need to be educating ourselves more?
Yes. Unfortunately, I find the school system forced us to learn how to memorize things. But we didn't learn because we were forced. All of us learn differently, and all of us are passionate about different things. I value education and I value schools very much. And sometimes we just have to find what works for people and put them in that direction. Working on the strengths. I truly believe that education starts after high school. But self-learning is the key thing. Never stop being curious about learning something new. I think that's truly I truly believe that's when we start to die. We're not meant to just get up, go to work, and come home and watch TV, even though I do that quite a bit. Don't tell anybody that, okay? But it's the passions, what brings us joy.
Yeah.
When we learn something new, we're putting new neural pathways in our brain to keep us stronger. We have more stories. We're more relatable to people. We have more things to discuss. I love deep conversations with people now. I'm not I like to use big words, not articulate. I'm learning things. I was never an avid reader. I was the comic book kid. I had it piled on the back of the toilet. And I'll give you a tip. That is the wrong place to ever put books, unless you close the toilet seat. Just saying.
And this is why we bring the monkey into tea time.
Tips, you never know. Tips, you will learn something new. But it's being an avid, wanting to know more. How can you be better? How can you improve yourself? How can you improve your habits? How can you improve your communication skills? How can you improve your relationships? That comes from us as individuals. That comes from within. You know, there's been many times, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people on this call can agree to this. We've wanted our partners to be something different. But what happens is we project what we don't want onto them. So what happens? They do the things we don't like. My wife is perfect. No, I'm sorry. We do it back and forth, but it's the best thing about it is unconditional love. But the unconditional love has to start with ourselves. So some of you may have heard me say unconditional love for myself. So then they're questioning, well, why aren't you happy with the body you were in? Why aren't you loving yourself the way you are? And I can understand that. And I get that. But I'm creating what works for me. I love myself more when I can be true to myself. So I have a certain image in my head. I have a certain thing I want to look and how I want to act. And am I on track with that? Not exactly. Otherwise, I'd be in way better shape. But that's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother topic. Next tea time. Our eating
Tea time
habits.
part 2.
Tea time part 2. Our eating habits. Oh my gosh. But I'm realizing I'm an emotional eater. But where does that come from? So it comes down to just giving yourself grace and the unconditional love for yourself to become, then learn to be the best version of yourself. So that was where I wanted to go with. So we need to also educate ourselves and learn. If you're curious about something, Google it, learn it. You know, set yourself up a challenge. Like many people have heard of the 75 hard. Okay, I have not done it yet. I can say it. That's about it. But it's when we grow, a lot of us were not challenged to, you know, we become better. And now we set ourselves up with phone call challenges or step challenges or eating plan challenges to see who we are and who we can be coming out of it. Like David Goggins is insane with some of the things he's able to do, but it's our minds give up before our bodies do. It's so true.
It is.
And if we can increase the strength of our mind, we can overcome anything.
Well, and I really believe we need to educate ourselves, right? Like it's like you said, we weren't challenged enough. We were go to school, learn this, and memorize it. It wasn't learning; it was memorizing, you know. And then if you were asked, "Well, I don't remember that because I chose not to remember that," right? Or I didn't take that class. No, what are you talking about, right? Because we choose not to remember it because we were programmed to memorize. We were not programmed to educate. We were programmed to memorize things in school. And I believe that that's where the educational system is failing all of us as children, as adults, as individuals. It is not giving us the room and space to learn and educate in the different ways and means that each and every one of us learns. I'm not saying take 25 students and have 25 different teachers for each student. I'm saying that we need to start opening the eyes and understanding why this child learns better this way and this child learns better that way. They do all these testings for what reasons if they're not going to do the actual, you know, they do all the experiment on us. They make us circle those little A, B, C, D tests there that we did. I still don't understand why they gave those tests because it never changed anything in the way that they taught me.
No.
You know,
standardized tests don't work to standardized individuals. We're all unique. We all learn different ways. And sometimes we have to learn and teach. And that's the best way to learn. So kids that pick up math, teach the other kids. But then also teach kids to be open to learning from other people. Unfortunately, like there's so many things we could open up into. But I think for myself, it was wanting just to learn. And then, I mean, it's so easy to get on Google's and looking this up. And am I an avid learner? I'm going to say no, but I'm avid about getting better. Because, yeah, I'll go jump on and watch a couple episodes of this and then be like, one more. We all do it.
Yeah.
But now I'm to the point I question, why do I do that? So the biggest thing that I have found that when we learn something, when there's emotion and feeling to it, and a lot of us, I have a harder time with the F word, the feelings. But that's what helps us really identify remembering something. It was not we remembered it, it was we remember the emotion.
Yeah.
And if we think emotion, I always say is energy in motion. So it's whatever energy you put into it. That's where the emotion comes. And then the more we feel about it, the more we create the habit, the more it becomes. And that's sometimes what we have to do is reverse the feelings and put in a new feeling. So that's why people talk about visualization. Well, it's not just closing your eyes and going, I want a new car, I want a new car, I want a new car. That's the thought. But when we talk about visualization, it's you're closing your eyes and you're seeing yourself in the vehicle, grabbing onto the steering wheel, smelling it. How do you feel? Because our bodies and our mind, if subconscious, if you want to put it, doesn't know what the future is. They only go by what past things or what is already witnessed. So if we can already see it in the future, we're already creating the history in our mind. So we can actually attract it more.
Well, it's almost like the financial freedom, right? If we
Exactly.
visualize it, it can happen, But we have to also work for it too. We also have to take the steps. We can't just close our eyes and boom, it's there. It's like you said, like you can't just, I'm getting a new car, boom, you open your eyes, there's a new car.
Right.
You have to take the steps. And I want to get into the dream achiever. What does that word mean to you, Kelly?
So many people have dreams, and unfortunately, life has squashed it. And it's usually, I hate to say it, our friends and family. The close people that we want that support, we tell them, hey, I started a new venture. Hey, I'm going to go to do this. Hey. And they're like, oh, yeah, good for you. You're never going to make it. Why would you want to do that? That's such a waste of money. Like, how many people have started a new business to try and generate an extra income, whether it's an MLM or not?
Yep.
Most people are like, oh, really? You got to do that. Oh, you're never going to make any money. And the thing is, if we supported each other more, maybe we supported and uplifted people more, encourage, praise, recognize, EPR, that's what we talk about all the time, more people might want to be more risky and challenge themselves more. But the problem is we fear so much of what others think. I was a person that I hated going for a walk by myself because I was afraid other people were looking at me going, why is that person walking by themselves? Don't they have any friends? What a loser. Like, those were things that would go through my head. I want to help people dream again. Whether it's I want to write a book, whether it's I want to travel, whether it's I want to start a new business, whether it's I want to go ask that person out. Whatever it is, we need to start dreaming again. And I'm talking, let's get crazy. Like, my wife and I are looking at property in Belize. That's a huge dream. Is it possible? I'm going to say yes, but not right now. But it's okay to dream, but then we want to put a timeline on it. We want to make things happen. When we're young, we have dreams like this. I'm going to be a fireman. I'm going to be a spaceman. I'm going to do it all. I remember watching Who's the Boss, which is dating myself now. And I was like, I'm going to work in that big skyscraper downtown and be in marketing. I don't know what I was thinking. But we have these big dreams, and then we get out of school and we get a job and we get this much income. So our dreams start to go towards our income. And that's where we would go, just enough. I just need to get by. But if we actually kept our dreams alive, whether it's being a rock musician, whether it's classical, whatever it is, when you have that drive and that passion, you can seriously make anything happen. And you're willing to do whatever it takes. That's legal and ethical. I like to throw that in there. Legal and ethical. But you'll stay up later. You'll practice. You'll read. Whatever it is, if you're passionate about a dream, you can achieve anything. And that's why I say being a dream achiever is bringing that spark back to people. Whatever it is.
You could be like me, the lady that serves tea.
Exactly. Serving tea to change the world one cup at a time. And sometimes that's all it is one conversation at a time can become a ripple effect that can change someone else's life down the road.
I truly believe that, because I got a lot of my friends and family. Oh my God, what are you doing serving tea? Like, what is this? Well, for me, as a little girl, the tea saved my life. So why not save someone else's life by having tea with them? Why not be different? Why do we always have to be the same as everyone else? My dreams are not the same as everyone else. I got big dreams, and some of my dreams, people are like, holy cow, girl, like slow down a little. And I'm just like, it's going to happen. Watch me. Yep. I'm going to make it happen, because I truly believe what we put into the universe, it does feed us back. It's like you said, with the negative thoughts. If we feed negative thoughts, we get negative results. If we feed positive results, we get positive results. It's the way we talk to ourselves. It's the inner voice. It's like you said, Kelly, the teacher told you, called you names, and then it was you that started calling yourself this name. And people don't understand, words do hurt, and they do hurt for years and years and years and years. Mm-hmm. And it could be the littlest thing that you think, that doesn't make a difference, but it does make a difference. And I really want to encourage you, Kelly, to reach out to Mark Williams. He does the Pink for Thursday in Canada as well. And he does the Breaking Racism and Bullying Awareness. Okay. And I really think the two of you guys would align really good together. And as everyone knows, all of my guests are being asked to come back and invited to come back for the reunion Teatime, December 18th, where I will have guests from 2020 coming back and 2021 as well coming back. So I want to have an update from each and every one of my guests for the viewers out there, and how you can connect with them. And if you have anything at all, Kelly, that you're bringing to the table that is new within the next year or 2 years or 5 years, let me know. I will update all of the viewers. I do stay in contact with each and every one of my guests. I have had over 108 guests in 2 years, and you're all part of my family now. So I really want to thank you, Kelly, for being open and sharing today and being real, raw, and authentic, because I think this is what we need. We need that rawness, right? And you're making a difference. You're bringing dreams alive. You're building people's lives up, and you're showing people that you had to build yourself up from the tragedy of your sister. I really want to thank you. So any final words before we wrap up your tea time, Kelly, to all of the viewers out there?
I want to challenge everyone to take out a piece of paper and write at the top $20,000. And $20,000 is what you're going to get every month for the rest of your life. Now I want you to start writing down what you're going to do with that $20,000 a month. So your bills are all paid off. Your homes are paid off. How far do you get with your dreams and goals? It's so simple. I mean, I've done this exercise a few times. And of course, you got the car, the house, the vacation, the this, and this. But you can only buy so many cars. You can only buy so many houses. What do you start to do? That's the shift in what you will do with money. I truly believe good people do good things. And the more we can see what we can do with philanthropy, with being able to serve, you will start to energetically change your thought processes on money. It's not about what it can buy. It's about what you can do with it. That starts to change. That's when the dreams start to come alive.
I'll take the 20,000.
Yeah, no. I'm not writing checks, people. I'm just saying.
I try, guys.
But I want to get to that point where it's like, here you go. I literally want to walk into the grocery stores on Senior Day Tuesday and buy all the seniors' groceries. I want to walk into a restaurant and just pay everybody's bills and walk out and not worry about who sees me do it, but just give people that notation that there are still good people out there and that good things can happen to you. And we just got to believe it.
Yeah.
And my goal is to build 100 millionaires in the next 5 to 10 years.
Oh my God, can I be one?
There you go. I truly believe we
I
can
will
do
work for it. I promise. I'm a hard worker. I am determined and persistent. I will get it done. You tell me what homework I have to do and I will do it. I'm a hard studier. I use Google. I research a lot. I do a lot. I do my homework.
Perfect. We'll definitely talk after this.
So we have a few comments that have come in from my cousin Cassandra. So I really want to appreciate my cousin for tuning in today and that. So I just want to bring up some of the comments that she's left in the studio. So true. We do what we believe in, and positive thoughts. Negatives go out the door. And she is a true warrior, my cousin here as well. And she has gone through a lot. And she's like me. Negatives got to go. We don't have time for negative. And I love listening to this today. I appreciate everything. So you really have connected with her, Kelly, and that. So
that.
Thank you for that. And then we do what we can to do, and then our best to get where we want to be in life as well. Money is not everything. And that is true. Money is not everything, but money is different for everyone. The abundance is different for everyone. And I guess I made her laugh. So, and she wants to say you're welcome. So thank you so much, Cassandra, for tuning in. I really appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate all the viewers that are out there that are tuning in. I am streaming to multiple places and locations. So this comments are not all coming into the studio, but I do appreciate each and every one of you viewers out there. So if you are watching a replay or you would like to see something different on Teatime, anything that will make a difference, then email Miss Liz at bookingmissliz@gmail.com. And my tongue, here we go again. The French is coming back in again. So I want to thank each and every one of you again for tuning in today for Tea Time with Miss Liz. And I will see you all for a special Tea Time on the 18th, where we will be doing a Tea Time in memory of a sister who has been lost from pancreatic cancer. We need awareness on this cancer because there's not enough awareness out there. This young lady was 35 years old when she lost her life, and her brother will be in the studio sharing his story on how he has created a tea in memory of his sister. And he has also created a shoe line in memory of his sister. So Dr. Kenya will be in the studio November 18th at 6 p.m. And we will make a difference by bringing the awareness that we need to cancer. And let's get the message out there. So again, Kelly, thank you for tuning in today and joining me today. Not tuning in because you are here. There we go. The French.
I tuned in.
The word, right? I got to study more, girl. Like I really need to understand what the heck I'm doing sometimes. My tongue just plays these tricks. But this is why the monkey's in the video. When you see the opening for Miss Liz, the monkey's there because Miss Liz's tongue sometimes just goes sideways and glitchy and all that. But again, thank you to each and every one of you for tuning in. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. And be sure to watch the gold nuggets that Miss Liz is dropping in the month of November and the month of December for what is coming in 2022 with Miss Liz. It will be a completely different layout and a platform that will be like no other out there, that no one is doing, because Miss Liz does different. And I'm going to be bringing an impactful change to the world with a cup of tea. And we do have one more comment. I just want to throw it in there. My beautiful sister, my lead sister, Marie Asbolt-Wright, who was also a Tea Time guest, and she will be watching the replay. She's a big supporter. So thank you so much.
Awesome.
And again, thank you, Kelly. Stay in touch. And I will see you December 18th when we have the reunion Tea Time. And I would love for you to bring your wife if she is able to join us as well that night. So I will be sending all the invites out soon to all of the Tea Time guests from 2020 and 2021. So be ready for a show of entertainment, laughs, giggles, maybe a little tears, and some giveaways that Miss Liz has in store for each and every one of you. So thank you for reaching out to me. And Tea Time, we will make a difference one cup of tea at a time. Thanks.
Sounds great. Thank you.